issue of debt relief, I was emphasizing where the leakages were in terms of going outside our cash flow forecast. So like I said, I'm going to couple it with the other internal control measures that we since put in place to come out of the woods. The issues of UIFW, which talks heavily in terms of making sure we stick within budget, amongst others. The issues of UIFW, Honorable Chairperson, when I came in, I introduced, I must appreciate the previous MPEC Chairperson. Collaboratively, we introduced as an SCM checklist that we made it standard on our payment vouchers, so that amongst other checks, no payment goes through if it's not budgeted for. There's no line item. That is number one. But we also, Honorable Chairperson, on the issue.
Just repeat that. Just let no payment goes through if
it's not budgeted for. So it's a checklist. It forces you to make sure that before you pay that line item, there's budget, there's money set aside in the budget. That's one control. But also the very same checklist will say to you as the processor of the payment to say, make sure that issues of supply chain compliance are on board. So it forces you to comment and approve before you go to the next level of payment. So that's one control, but I must also indicate another control we put in place is the issue of probity audits. Recently, you may have seen adverts in the website where we re-advertise tenders, big tenders, and we've done that because when I came in, I was on suspension. When I came back, I found tenders almost to be finalized, and I requested a probity audit that gave me severe findings, and to that extent, we decided before we make matters of an irregular ways, we then opted for a re-advert. So that's one other control. I must also indicate through the CFO seated next to me, we took a resolution and we issued a memo to the entire staff to guard against and to warn against any services that are undertaken on the ground or elsewhere without purchase orders. So there's a memo that we've issued to all staff in the municipality. And I'm talking to controls that were aimed mainly at curbing the historic culture that led us to these amounts of UIFW, Honorable Chair.
So these fleet payment security, was that within the cash flow projection for the month?
Yes, like I said, those were accruals. Those are month to month. We budget for those. Yes, the answer is yes.
They were accruals.
Those
that
are
means
security.
Accumulated unpaid.
Yes, that's for security.
So that means you didn't actually comply in the previous month with your cash flow projections.
That's correct. And the main reason goes back to the issues of cash management that we're trying to solve now.
And have you found a reason why that is the case?
No, we did. Like I indicated, is the issues of prioritization when we go to issues of payments. You'll find invoices that get to be paid. How they prioritize, it's an issue for investigation. And when you asked, but is there a budget for this? So
are you investigating those? Like, who are you investigating them? Like
the leadership indicated, currently there's an investigation in my office, and I'm investigating all transactions. That goes, I said, with the support I have currently, we are going for the last number of financial years, starting from 24-25. We're going back until 22-23. What we're doing there, we're using all our Section 52 reports. How they're structured is they give you a detailed listing per quarter of all transactions. And every transaction through the CFO has got a narrative of whether it's U, is it I, is it F, or is it W. So I'm guided by the Section 52 reports from Finance.
Okay, let's deal with the rest of the questions.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. You asked the question around the electricity tariffs, the NERSA issues. I must indicate this came as a litigation. I must indicate also, after picking it up, there is a litigation approaching the NERSA direction. I called a meeting with our business forum. One business forum is called Brett's Industrial Association, where they're sitting, I think it's 2 weeks back. One of the issues they raised is the same issue of NERSA, wherein I also indicated it's a matter sub judice. We've joined the application. We're participating in the process through our legal office, and will be driven by the outcome of that particular proceeding in terms of what needs to be done. So we're alive to any corrective measures that will be brought to our attention at a court level. but we are aware that there's a complaint about the tariffs. The other issue, Honorable Chair, which I think you'll tell me if I'm out of order, the issues of investigation of the UFW when my principals were reporting. I must indicate, Honorable Chair, when I came in on the 1st of December 2024, hardly 2 weeks I was with AG in Rustenburg, and we agreed with an action plan. In the main, AG gave me 2 assignments. They said one is the material irregularities, go in and work on these ones, but secondly, Khatla, is the issue of UFW. So I came back to the office with a plan, but hardly 2 months I was on suspension. The plan was interrupted, and I've been interrupted. But that's not the issue. The issue is borrowing from what principals indicated, instability. You have a plan. I mean, it's a year already. Next year, you may ask, what did the MM do the whole of last year? So, and I want to believe what happened to me is happened to other predecessors as well. But also, you can imagine MPEC works with MMs. I mean, they've got a plan with the MM. I know I'm owing, after this investigation, I must see to the MPEC chairperson. We'll have our own undertakings. Before you know, you are told the MPEC chairperson has been changed. So I thought I must emphasize the impact of these instabilities, either at MM, but you're going to call me to order. Let me.
I will, because you are actually contradicting them. You see, what they say to us, that the MPEC is fine. They only changed it 2 months ago, but it was not effective because the investigations were not being done. And everybody is saying the investigations are supposed to be done by MM. What is the MM saying? It's them who are unstable, you are fine. What they're saying is that the MM is not investigating, the MPEC is fine. So you are out of order unless you convince us that your principals are telling us the untruth.
No, I was complimenting, and I want to withdraw, Honorable Chairperson, if I caused confusion. I was complimenting.
Okay, tell us. All right, let's erase everything. Let's start from scratch. The Speaker says, the MPEC is fine, but it's just not investigating. And they've been like that for the 4 years, they've not investigated. You came in last year. Then the Speaker says she's hoping that this MPEC will be effective. She doesn't know how, but National School of Governance is going to assist them with capacity building. No, she's got a hope something's going to happen. So I said, why do you hope when you have got no proper diagnosis of where the problem is? No, the investigations are not, the mayor comes in. No, actually, 2 months ago we formed a new MPEC, and they've started the investigation, and investigations are going. So the member says, not in 2 months, they can't be finished. No, we're not saying in 2 months they're done. We're saying they are continuing. That's what the mayor says. Okay, the mayor says they are continuing, but there is a problem with the investigation. It's not a function of the committee, it's a function of the MM. And the MM comes. You remember my principal said there's a instability. That instability meant they kept changing the MPEC chairperson. The MM is not addressing the lack of investigation. So somebody is not telling us the exact truth. No, don't raise your hand. I'm giving you a summary because I don't want to repeat this thing because you're talking to us as though we didn't hear what the others have said, and you are contradicting them, and we want to know what actually is the truth. We stopped talking to the Speaker because the Speaker wasn't going forward to explain what the problem is. Now, we moved to the mayor until we realized that it's you. No, the mayor is not going to speak. It's the MM that I'm addressing. But you'll have an opportunity to say if I actually misquoted you or if I said something that's not true. I'm just directing the MM that MM, we want to know why there are no investigations. Now you can't be scapegoating and saying, no, those MM chairpersons are getting changed. We want to know your side of the thing. If they're changing them, let us talk to them about it. But we want to know the investigation now. You don't actually investigate by worrying about who's the chair of MPEC. So let's get back to the point. Why?
Okay. Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. I'm going to emphasize the linkage between myself as the MM and the MPEC chairperson. The MPEC. Now, ideally, when transactions like this happen, the UIFW, I will prepare the Section 52 reports through the CFO's office, and those go to council. Now, in there, I've already done my investigation to say...
Don't disturb him. It looks like you are disturbing him. I'll give you opportunity to speak. But from where I'm sitting, it looks like you're getting... I want you to focus on this thing. It sounds like you're getting distracted.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Chairperson. So, that preliminary investigation, Honorable Chair, would have already been done through Section 52 reports. It's at that level where, as the accounting officer, I'm able to say to council, this is unauthorized, this one is fruitless, and so on and so on. So I go to council with a preliminary report. Now council will then say, seated here as council, we've got a committee that must interrogate further. Now, when that decision is taken through a council resolution, then MPEC says, okay, then they come back to my office as the accounting officer, and they say from council mandate, we need to go deeper into the issues. Now, we have a plan of action with MPEC as the accounting officer, including entry meetings, exchange of documents, and so on and so on. Now, that is a process plan. Now, I'm bringing in instability. As and when that is about to kick off and realize its life, you then have these changes that happen at that level, whether at the level or the MPEC arrangement. So I was bringing the dangers of not keeping it stable at that level, because you're affecting implementation of the issues on the ground. Many cases, action plans that were put there to proceed. So I was bringing that, Chairperson. I hope I've answered your concern.
I still don't understand why there's no investigation.
Okay, as I proceed. Now, coming to the issues of why there are no investigations, before I mislead the House, talking to my coming in, and I don't want to repeat the case. I only got a chance to do proper investigation now from the previous council. The whole time, Honorable Chairperson, it was not easy to stay in the office. I must be honest. Those who were following the media and newspapers. So as you plan, you stop. You leave the office, you come back. So it's only now that I'm finding myself able to sit, commit, and as I speak to you now, Honorable Chairperson, the reports, when the EM said the investigation is in place, this is what I did. Straight from council resolution, I convened SMT. I requested my Office of Internal Audit to assist me. I distributed where the plan were done, and we agreed on how we're going to deal with this financial years. And the staff has been allocated to do that. So once we go into allowing us the environment to work, the investigations have kick-started. Prior to that, before my arrival,
I can follow now. There's just one part I still can't get. You couldn't investigate because it was not easy to stay in the office. So what exactly does that mean? Because you see now, it's affected the work of the entire municipality. Something made it difficult for you to investigate. Now you are fine, you're going to do it now. You are actually saying you were not doing it. Okay? Now, what is this that made you unable to investigate?
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. I came in on the 1st of December 2024. Well, fast forward December. In December, there were payments that came to my office that I perused and I was not happy with. January, I had corridor talks. I took it for granted that because of those transactions, I refused. I'm a target for fights internally, whether you call it politics or otherwise. So I took it for granted. And a month later...
Sorry, you're a target.
No, that's the corridor talks.
No, that's corridor talk.
Yeah.
Let's talk corridor talk.
Sure.
Yeah.
So,
you're a target.
Yeah.
Of who?
Well, I was a target of the people who had interest in the payments that I refused to pay, but I couldn't get names.
But Chair, on the corridor talks, you came in December. January, the very same December, there's deviation of 15 million and other millions. You just came in, you embark on deviation, the council suspend you, and the mayor the council force you on the leave, and then you go home and you come back on April, January, February, March, you are not in the council. You came in December, but already you have problems. But when you came back, Chair, in April, the new MPEC is constituted. Then there was no corridor fighting. May, June, July, August, September now. No investigation, no plan of action with the MPEC. Where is the link now? Thanks, Chair.
Thank you very much. Maybe let me correct my coming back. I came back in June. From February, it has been a tug of war in my coming back. I court resolved in June that I must come back. When coming to the issues of deviations, we did not have deviations in December. Let me correct the scenario. Thanks for the opportunity. What happened in December was with three issues that caused the fight between myself and council. Now, one, like I indicated earlier, the municipality has been operating on an unfunded budget, and heavily so, to a point where when you want to pay salaries, you literally have to pray that you're gonna get some revenue somewhere. So we're in that dire state, even as we speak. But I came in December quick to analyze. I realized we're in December, we have to close offices, and here are the invoices that I need to prioritize. So one of the invoices I had to prioritize there was the security invoices by the nature of the service, because we're going on holiday. Now, the invoices that had to be paid, there was no money in the bank, I must indicate. So I was faced with security invoices, but also I was faced with ring fencing the equitable shares that just came in December, first week. So I saw a marathon of invoices. Like I said earlier on, Chairperson, this invoices just kept going if you don't manage it. So I said, we're going to ring fence salaries, at least for the next number of years until next year, 2025. So this money must be put in an investment account. I locked it up. Now, we then were left with a balance of equitable shares that was available to look after the invoices in December, many as they were. But I said to the team, please give me, apologies, please give me your priority list in terms of invoices that you're going to pay, because I want to do a high-level cash flow analysis, see if we've got enough to pay everyone, especially key service providers like security. The report turned out that we can't afford. So I said, let's pack everyone else, but let's prioritize security by virtue of the service and the criminal activities and bribes over December holidays. So we then said, as you're speaking, for as long as you're going to ring fence salaries, just know that you can't even afford security services. I said, fair and good, let's do this. We're sitting in December, you have got an MIG account, seated here. Seated where I am as the I'm closing offices, firms have closed, I paid all my MIG certificates, I've got a balance in the MIG account. Please do this for me. Because of the nature of the service security, please pay the security companies because they mustn't leave sight. We'll come back in January, we'll have a disaster. So I was acting in the best interest of the infrastructure of the municipality. But I said to the CFO, please, when you come back in December, the first collection that you get, please replenish this 15 million. That happened in January. So we took the 15 in December, we managed the issue.
Is 15 or 50?
15. The 15, Honorable Chair. So we then did that as a measure. So January came, CFO did the collection, she replenished, and then we moved on. So that's what happened.
And which ones were you suspended for?
That very same case.
That same case?
Yeah, that same case.
Okay, where are we with the, how did you get back from suspension? Was it just council, was it court, was what?
Yeah, before I mislead the meeting, it was that case, it was another case of settlement, it was something about project.
What sorry, second case was?
Yeah, maybe let me give the House, there were 3 cases. That was the main one. The second one, it was the issue of a settlement. There's an employee, Honorable Chair. This employee was appointed on term, i.e. they were allocated a particular portfolio, MMC I want to believe. Now, they then, when the portfolios changed, the employee was terminated. Now, when I came in, the employee brought a grievance. Must I give you the whole background?
That's good enough. The third one?
The third one is to do with a contract electrification project in Dammonsville. It's a township in my area. Now, what happened with that case was the issue with the councillors around how I appointed. So, the person who raised it with council, I want to believe, did not have all the information around the appointment. And council picked it up later. Now, this is what happened. We had a strike, third, I think, strike in the same area. Now, the community came to my office and asked for intervention on the electrification project. So I asked the CFO, I understand you've got panel of contractors. Do you have anyone in electricity, a panel that we can go and borrow a service provider? The answer was yes. So I borrowed that panel. But before we could borrow the panel, Honorable Chair, there was a service provider appointed on the very same project on risk. I didn't know. So the community had to strike because this person was not starting the project. So I had a one-on-one meeting with the service provider. Actually, it was not a one-on-one. One-on-one with
the one was appointed, the one that you wanted to appoint.
The one appointed already. The one was delaying to, hence the community complaint. Now, the service provider then, I had a meeting with ITS, my director. So what I got there from the interview was the service provider was appointed on risk. He's still looking for funding. That is why it is not starting. And unfortunately, that was after 2 years. So I said, then the community is justified for being aggrieved because 2 years down the line. So we agreed that we need to go into a solution. And then that's where the topic around who else is in the panel came in. So there's a panel appointed through proper supply chain processes that the municipality is utilizing. Now, we went into the panel, but even before the panel, I said, you can't have two service providers on site. We need to terminate the one that has been delaying. So we terminated.
Okay. So we're not dealing with the case. We just wanted the headlines. Now, there's a lot of issues that have not been dealt with. Can you deal with the issue of consultants and vacancies?
Thank you very much. Like I said, I think I've touched on consultants already. The AFS, Mampudi, is the name of the company. Egnet on assets, MaxProf on VAT recovery. I think I've responded to this one already, Honorable Chair. Also just explaining why we've got consultants, the skills gaps, and so on and so on.
Company and amount? Do you have a company and amount?
The company is Mampudi, will share the amounts.
Okay, just list it up, you'll give us.
Okay, sure.
Yeah,
Mampudi, proceed, okay. Now, issue of vacancies, Honorable Chair, I must indicate we are not doing well. At Section 56 level, we lost 2 senior managers, that is the CFO and the senior manager ITS, through resignations. In the previous council, an item already was on the table, just to make sure that we go and advertise, and this work outstanding that council advised the accounting officer must still do some touch-ups and bring the report back. In the next council, Honorable Chair, council will be resolving on the advert in that regard. But generally on the lower levels, vacancies are too high. I must indicate the problem, the big problem we have in the municipality is the issues of budget. We keep on agreeing as SMT to say we want to fill up the positions, but colleagues, let's start by collecting revenue, because even the current salary bill, which is 22%, we believe is too high for us, given our cash flow constraints. So we're taking it easy there, and this is the easy part. We have asked senior managers to go into their long list of requests for adverts to prioritize through a stationery, we call it PO9s, it's forms, each senior manager must complete. So we sent back a long list per senior manager and say, please cascade it down to the very critical ones, because we can advertise. So we are in that process. As we speak, we are putting together the adverts and so on and so on.
So these 3 issues that you were suspended for, could they be the reason why Treasury actually felt you must be thrown out of that debt relief program?
No, I don't know.
What are those issues from Treasury? You said earlier it was the management of your accruals, and it sounds like it's the same thing.
No. I won't read I've got the assessment report from Treasury. I won't read it verbatim. Let me summarize for you. The big issue with Treasury is we defaulted. We did not keep up to the promised installments. But obviously, drilling down to the reason, one of the reasons and main reason is that our cash flow, we're not consistent in receiving the money that we want to receive from our consumers. But also on the expenditure management side, that's what I said earlier on, we're not containing our costs. There's a lot that we can do from a saving point of view, savings which we can rechannel to that ESCOM account. So Treasury was not happy with skipping the installments, number one. But also Treasury is not happy with our ring fencing, and it goes back to revenue collection. Treasury is saying, perhaps you could consider having a ring-fenced account where you put in the collection from electricity. You use the very same money to service this account. We're not doing it. So it boils down, Honorable Chair, to skipping the installments more than anything. But if you go down to the root cause, it cuts across. But like I said, it's all about money in the bank. Money in the bank.
Thank you. Let's take the...
Thank you, Chair. Listening to the presentation that has been done, it also indicates that the council have adopted unfunded budget. Then my concern is that in our councils we appoint the accounting officers, whom their responsibility is also to advise councils on the decisions that the councils are taking. So how come that the council is adopting unfunded budget while you have senior management, including the CFOs and the accounting officers? Secondly, Chair, the MM also spoke about the investigations of the UIF. And looking at the history of the MM, it also appeared that at some point he was suspended in relation to some other projects. So I want to check with the MM that is he part of the transactions that may require investigations by NPEC? And if so, how is he going to investigate UIF if he may be conflicted on that particular element? And on the issue of prioritizing security, that on its own may be right or may not be right, but what we've observed lately, another format of looting in our municipalities is through security companies and yellow fleet. So we also need to look at our priorities when we do payment, especially when it's in line with those two services, because that's what we've observed, that with security, you'll come and say we are having 40 security for 40 sites, only to realize that you are only having 15 securities, but then you are paying for this number of people. That's where we've also realized that yellow fleet, water tankers, and security is where most of corruption is happening. Thank you, Chair.
No, thank you, Chair. Chair, follow up on the issue of unfunded budget. So the report 2024-2025, page 96, talks of the expenditure framework budget as unfunded. So number two, there's an issue of going concern, uncertainty, where on the municipality 2023-2024 of the MFMA report, it is reported that there was a deficit of 308 million. There's an issue of current liabilities which exceed assets of 809 million, and also there's an issue of financial problems. So what is the response in terms of the municipality? So number three, there is also budget spent but fewer targets achieved. on paragraph 48 of the municipalities 2023-2024 audit report, they've achieved 67% of targets in terms of basic service delivery and infrastructure, but spent 100% of the budget. Thank you, Chair.
I serve responses passed to. Please proceed with the response. Let's move the mic over.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Quick one on whether I'm part of the UIFW. Maybe let's not preempt, intimidate the process. I won't say as yet. The investigation is still on. Will be guided by the outcome, the Honorable Chair. And obviously, if I'm part, I want to believe the process will apply to me like anyone else. So I don't want to preempt, Honorable Chair. The issue of security, fraud, we take it as an advice, and we can't deny that. But I must also indicate, as a person, I took it upon myself one of the days, I think is the reason why I was also not liked by some. I raised an issue on when I visited one site, on a serious note, Honorable Chair, and I took a phone and I asked the company, why do we not have the guards on site as per schedule? And right there and there, the issue was corrected. I must indicate, they quickly corrected it. It was the number of person at a shift. So that was corrected. And from that point, I don't want to sit here and say nothing wrong is happening in our space. I want to appreciate Section 106. I want to also appreciate, I must also indicate, Honorable Chair, I already received an approval from the MPEC chairperson, Audit Committee chairperson, way before my suspensions, where I requested a special audit. And this was following my visit, where I specifically requested an ad hoc on the security services. I know it was finalized in my absence. I will just have to go back and find the report and see what they uncovered. So I wouldn't want to defend issues under security, but we remain guided by this meeting to look into it. Unfunded budget. Like we said in the report, I think my chairperson is to emphasize on the corrective measures. We did not hide it. We are unfunded. It's an issue that I've been trying to cover in other questions, to say we are unfunded mainly because we're not collecting revenue, one. But very, very important, Honorable Chair, we are overcommitted. We have got contracted services.
Your voice is loud. I can hear from here. Your voice is loud. I can hear from here. I only worry if you're going to repeat the question that's been asked. Why is he talking?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I was emphasizing on the way forward. We are overcommitted at the budgeting phase. As much as you can see that I'm overcommitted, in instances, it's not easy to cut. One, mainly because, I'm going to give an example, security, now that we are talking about security. You can see that I don't have enough from the collection side to honor security invoices, but we are contracted. You also go into the IT services. You are contracted. Services are happening. You want to cut. You can see that these invoices I won't be able to honor. But all I'm saying to the meeting is that we acknowledge that we did our own introspection. We put measures in place. You also go into the IT services. You are contracted. Services are happening. You want to cut. You can see that these invoices I won't be able to honor. But all I'm saying to the meeting is that we acknowledge that we did our own introspection. We put measures in place. Won't be able to honor. But all I'm saying to the meeting is that we acknowledge that we did our own introspection. We put measures in place in the townships as a launch, but we're going back to town and everywhere else. So we're that desperate to go everywhere and find money. On the debit side, on the other side, we say let's go into the issues of expenditure, contain, manage expenses, and that's where we are strict on supply chain. We are very strict on before we buy, the buyers know. I must also say to the meeting, when other measure under the internal controls, there was a trend of buying things that we already have in the stores. So when I came in, I picked it up and I put a stop to that. And I said, no, but you can't. Before we buy, supply chain is away. Before you buy any consumables, check with the stores. So we're all over with measures, but all in one spirit of trying to make sure that we save the little we have. So that's where we are. And funded budget without hiding it. Going concern, it's a culmination of all these problems that we have. So in the main, we are not liquid. Our gearing ratio is a problem. Our current ratio is a problem. All our financial ratios are a problem. But the root cause I've indicated, we solve the issues of revenue and expenditure. Honorable Chairperson will be able to be liquid in the main. We'll be able to ring fence some money in the bank, but also be able to have our current assets over our current liabilities, so that we're able to honor the invoices on a monthly basis. Something we're peddling to do at the moment. We solve all these issues, Honorable Chair,